All right, welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive.
You know how this works. We take a stack of your sources,
Yeah.
and today
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be looking at a quote from Thomas Sowell.
Okay.
It takes considerable knowledge just to realize the extent of your own ignorance.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so what do you
Yeah.
think about that?
Well, it's interesting because it's almost like you're saying
Yeah.
the more you know, the more you realize you don't know anything.
Right.
Like you get to the top of one mountain and you realize there's like a whole mountain range.
Totally, and you didn't even know.
Yeah, you didn't even know.
It was there before.
Exactly.
And it's kind of like that saying, right? You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
It reminds me of something.
Okay.
It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Oh, yeah?
Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah. So
Okay, so for everyone listening.
yeah, the Dunning-Kruger effect basically says that
Mm.
people who don't know a lot about something, they tend to overestimate
Yeah.
how good they are at it.
Exactly.
So like,
Yeah.
you start learning guitar, you
Yeah.
learn a couple chords,
Right. You're like,
you can play like
yeah, I'm the best.
on the water,
I'm going to be a rock star.
and you think you've got it,
Yeah.
but then you realize there's like all this other stuff to learn.
Exactly. And so it's almost like in the beginning, there's kind of like
Yeah,
a beginner's luck phase
exactly.
where you kind of have these early wins.
Yeah, and those early wins can be really misleading.
Right.
Because you feel really confident.
Mhm.
But then as you get deeper into whatever it is you're learning,
Yeah.
you start to see how much more complex it is.
Yes.
And you realize you don't actually know that much.
And that can be kind of disheartening, right?
Y-
Because you go from this
yeah.
peak of, I'm amazing at this. to
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't really know anything.
Yeah.
So like, how do you kind of deal with that?
Well, I think that's where like intellectual humility comes in. It's
Right.
like recognizing that you don't know everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Right.
It's about being open to new ideas
Right.
and to learning from other people.
Like being willing to admit
Yeah.
when you're wrong.
Totally. And not being afraid to ask questions.
Because I think a lot of times people,
Yeah.
especially when they're like in a professional setting or something,
Yeah. They don't want
they
to.
don't want to look stupid.
They don't want to look stupid.
But really, by asking questions, you're actually becoming
More knowledgeable.
more knowledgeable.
Exactly.
So it's like this kind of paradox, yeah.
Yeah.
That the more you realize
Yeah.
you don't know,
The more you actually grow.
the more you actually know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's like expanding your mental map.
I like that.
The more you explore,
Yeah.
the more you realize there is to explore.
Yeah. And so, listener, I hope you're kind of realizing this too as you listen,
Yeah.
that it's not about knowing all the answers.
It's about the journey.
It's about being open
Yeah.
to learning and growing.
Absolutely.
So to kind of wrap things up here,
Okay.
what's one thing that you're curious to learn more about?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Just anything.
I think I'm really curious about
Yeah.
the future of artificial intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's changing so rapidly,
It is.
and there's so much we don't know.
Yeah, and it could have such a
Huge impact.
huge impact on our lives.
Yeah.
So what about you, listener?
Yeah.
What's something that you're curious about?
What are you going to dive deep into?
Yeah, what's your next deep dive going to be?
Yeah.
And remember, it's not about having all the answers.
Yeah.
It's about being
Yeah.
curious and open to learning.
And remember,
Yeah.
the more you learn,
Yeah.
the more you realize you don't know.
Exactly.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it fun.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
See ya.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.